lighting is kind of atrocious, but we're going to make it work. My name is Ryann Funk. I'm a senior at UW, graduating this spring. I'm a double major in communication and also an art major with a concentration in photo media, and I'm also part of the 2019-2020 honors cohort. And I present to you my little baby that's been growing and growing and developing and redeveloping since September, Art Heaux. This is a one-off publication that I've produced for my senior thesis as part of this show, and I'm going to take you on a little book tour. I'm going to try and do some one take. I don't know, I kind of babble a lot, so we'll see if it actually is one take. So we'll start with the front cover. This is a photo that's actually taken of me by one of my good friends, Gemma. She's at Miss Gemma Eve on Instagram. She does a lot of creative directing for a lot of local musicians and up-and-coming artists, and is really trying to break into the music scene. I think she's a really, really awesome and creative person, and you should all go check her out. This photo was actually taken the very first time we ever met. We kind of DM'd over Instagram a couple times, and we were like, let's do a photo shoot. And so us and a couple friends, we just drove down to West Seattle, and literally this is like lit by like 4 iPhone flashes, like the little flash on your iPhone, and she like did an entire series of these pictures, and I saw this one and I could not let this be the cover photo. So I'm so glad she's let me use it. And then the name Art Heaux comes from a phrase I've been saying since like freshman year, and it kind of comes from the phrase Art Heaux, spelled H-O-E. And I was just complaining about somebody, and I was like, oh my god, I hate these like Art Heaux. They think they know everything and they think they know the best. And so this kind of play, spelling it H-E-A-U-X, is almost like the word faux, F-A-U-X, so it's like a fake Art Heaux. Like, I'm kind of like putting on this facade of like, so when you open up the first page, the inside cover is this beautiful little picture I found of myself while going through my parents' photo boxes. This is actually the first time I ever went to Disneyland. My parents took me for my 4th birthday, and this was like before I was in school, so we were able to go in May. And I just think it's the funniest like little picture ever, and it kind of like starts off this kind of theme of bringing together past and present. And this is the first kind of little editorial that I wrote for the publication. It's just like a why I did it, and I'm actually going to read it out loud to you. So, why? Ryann Funk tells the story behind the project Art Heaux. Being an only child, I grew up learning to entertain myself, as most kids do, but particularly those blessed, or cursed, depending on how you look at it, with the experience of being an only child. This meant my imagination has always ran wild. Playing pretend was my favorite thing to do. Technically it still is, but now more often it turns into daydreaming. Making up scenarios in my head and then playing them out in my backyard, the garage, the bathroom before taking a shower. I did it all by myself. I think this is where my dream big, achieve big mindset and attitude stems from. I have distinct memories of making my dad teach me how to use music loading and playing software when I was a kid. I couldn't have been older than 9 or 10, so that I could put all of this music I was intaking on my orange High School Musical Disney Mix Max digital media player, which was way before I was ever introduced to what the hell an iPod was. All of the music I would hear on 106.1 Kiss FM, the only radio station my mom listened to while I was growing up, every single morning from kindergarten to junior year of high school, because I didn't start driving myself to school until halfway through junior year, I would listen to all the hits. This was most likely where my deep love of pop music stems from. Back when songs like Pon de Replay by Rihanna and Buttons by the Pussycat Dolls were on the rotation. I would load all of these songs, the most infamous of which was London Bridge by Fergie. I still, to this day, have no idea why my parents let me listen to that at such a young age, onto the digital player, and just spent hours upon hours in my backyard by myself, creating these scenarios in my head and playing them out as if they were real. I was doing everything from practicing my runway walk during Prime, America's Next Top Model days, to living my pop star dreams and performing a full-blown concert, all pure entertainment for hours on end, but that hasn't ever stopped. I can read, I swear. It has just evolved into more probable goals. I was on a walk back from class one day, and I found myself in another one of my infamous daydreaming sequences. My mind running wild as per usual. I was thinking about the why. It seems as if every time I present an idea, I'm always having to confront a multitude of whys. Why are you doing this and not that? Why are you going about it this way? Why spend your time on something like that? On this walk home, I was questioning why I was so enthralled by my thesis project, creating a one-off publication of sorts. I had always made fun of the fact that our kids love making zines, which is true. But ever since I was a kid, one of the scenarios that always played out in my head was not necessarily the easiest to play out in real life, was working for a magazine, working in fashion, working in music. Ever since I can remember, I've always wanted to work for a magazine. I was a religious reader of my mom's People magazines that would come in the mail, the person who would go to 10 different stores just to find a particular magazine with the celebrity that I was obsessed with on the cover. I appreciate the visuals, while also the writing. I can't remember a time in my life that I didn't want to work for Rolling Stone magazine. I mean, working for Vogue would also be tied for a dream job, but I think I would get eaten alive there, to be honest. But getting to combine creative writing plus music plus some of the most amazing mix of documentary and editorial photography, sign me up. Maybe it's just me wanting to follow the path of one of my inspirations, Annie Leibovitz, but she's much cooler than I'll ever be. But thinking about all of this while walking home made me feel a bit more validation in what I was doing. I was realizing this wasn't just one of the creative phases that I tend to go through fairly quickly. This one was coming from somewhere different. It's not being forced, which is new, but the way it should be. So that's my little kind of like introduction of this, and then the next page spread is a kind of like a fun little past and present moment as we move more through the book. This is another picture of me from that same trip to Disneyland, because if you haven't figured out already, I was a Disney kid, and I loved Minnie Mouse. So I got the full Minnie Mouse getup. I had the ears, I had the little bag, I had the full dress. And then this picture down here is from also the same trip, and I loved this little like the Mickey Mouse like sorcerer's hat, but it was the pink one, of course, because I love pink. And so when I was going through my stuff here at my parents' house, I was realizing that I still had all of these things that I used to love as a kid. And so this is literally just like new photographs of this same Minnie Mouse purse that I had when I got when I was a kid. It's just 3 different pictures layered on top of each other of me like kind of swinging the bag and whatnot. And then this hat, I was going to take a picture of me trying to wear the hat, but I put it on and it's way too small, or I just have a big head. Who knows? And then this next spread, this is a picture of me, age 4, May 2002, my first trip to Disneyland. Cute as a button, sitting in front of the what do you call these things? Little flower arrangement things. And then me, age 18, August 2016, almost an identical picture, totally unintentional. Okay, what's next? Oh, the next little cover spread. Oh my gosh, what? I totally missed a page. I'm such a dumbo. I did a collage of all these cute little photos of me because I'm adorable. They're literally, I look exactly the same in every single one of them. I just thought they were cute, and maybe really rethink of if I should go back to having bangs. I don't think I would look good with bangs now considering what my hair looks like, but it was a cute look back then. Okay, getting back on track because I obviously don't know my own book. For the center spread, look how cute I look. Again, adorable picture of me, looking fabulous as always. This is Ryann Funk. She was born May 21st, 1998. She's a Gemini. Geminis are known for having 2 personalities in one. Ryann has a sociable, fun-loving, and communicative side. Ryann also has a serious, restless, and nervous side. The nervousness made her a quiet and anxious kid. She didn't like loud noises, like fire alarms, still doesn't. The first time she ordered at a restaurant by herself was monumental. Hashtag growth. Now, you can't get her to shut up sometimes. Especially about the fact that she's a Gemini. Arguably one of the most polarizing of the astrological signs. You either love them or you hate them. But you probably just love to hate them. 21 isn't one of the lucky numbers of the Gemini, but it's Ryann's. She looked forward to her golden birthday, 21, on the 21st. Her favorite drink to order is a cosmopolitan. It makes her feel fancy. Growing up an only child, she always felt and acted more mature than her actual age. This was due to constantly being around adults because, no siblings. She is also an ISTJ, for those of you who love Myers-Briggs personality types. Introverted, sensing, thinking, judging. The logistician? I told you, I'm obviously not a reader. Known for being honest, strong-willed, and jacks of all trades, this explains why her friends come to her for advice. Also explains why she has a hard time during art critiques. If she likes what she's doing, she'll continue no matter what others advise. She also likes being good at everything. I think it boosts her ego. She's also the epitome of a type A personality, if you couldn't tell. Known for being impatient, anxious, impulsive, and concerned with time management. She likes to think she's not impulsive. And then she accidentally buys tickets to yet another concert. Ryann might be the only type A personality that isn't concerned with time management. She is easily the biggest procrastinator in the existence of type A personalities. It comes to bite her in the ass when she gets anxious about procrastinating so much. She also doesn't understand art school. Please refer later in the book to the writing piece entitled Art School is a Weird Place. She's not quite sure how you can get graded on something that's subjective, but she's still here, so whatever. That was Ryann Funk. It's laid out in a format as if somebody else had been experiencing me and was writing about me, and like giving like that third person viewpoint, which I really enjoyed. This next center spread is a bunch of pictures I did one night, and I was a couple glasses of wine in, and I was like, let's do a photo shoot because I need more content for my project that I can use. And so I literally probably spent like a good hour just taking pictures. I just set it up on self-timer and went to town, honestly. A gem of a page, if I do say so myself. So, a magazine called Teen Vogue, and on their YouTube channel, they invite a bunch of celebrities that they interview for their magazine to create like playlists of their life, and they pretty much just pick like 7 or 8 songs that are really important to them, or like moments in their life, or really kind of built them as people. I'll read you off like this is like the actual playlist, and then this little QR code, I created the playlist on Spotify, so you can scan it, and then it'll take you to the playlist. So the first song I have on here, I did them chronologically because that's just how I go. The first song is Living on a Prayer by Bon Jovi, and Living on a Prayer will forever and always remind me of my mom, her love for John Bon Jovi, and the time when she bought Bon Jovi tickets for herself but then gifted them to me for Christmas when I was 11. It's like, I never end up going to the concert. She just like bought the tickets and then she went without me because I didn't want to go at the time, which of course now I wish I had gone, but I was 11. I didn't want to go see John Bon Jovi. The next song is Dane in California by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And Dane in California brings me back to endless hours spent playing Rock Band with my dad. Red Hot Chili Peppers is one of my dad's favorite bands, and it was special for us to get to go and see them for the first time together. That was about March 2017, 2018, something like that. They were great. 10 out of 10 would recommend seeing them if you have not. Next song is Bad Romance by Lady Gaga. I was 10 years old when I first heard Lady Gaga on the radio. I owned every poster with her face on it, bought special edition magazines, and watched the Bad Romance video so many times that I still know all of the choreography, and that is a fact. She's one of my idols. I grew up on her music, and it taught me to preach love and equality for everybody. Next song, A Punk by Vampire Weekend. I call this my pick-me-up song, and Vampire Weekend was one of those bands that I danced around to my living room to at 10 years old, And 10 years later, I'm still doing the same thing. A Punk is forever and always my pickup song. It's literally like a 2-minute song. It's like the quickest song ever, but like it just brings so much joy and so many memories from middle school back into my life that I just like, I love it. It's like a no skip type of song. My next song is my middle and high school pick, which is White Walls by Macklemore and Ryan Lewis. Macklemore and Ryan Lewis, another group that got me through middle and high school, from finding their first mixtapes and EPs on SoundCloud, to breaking down in tears the first time I saw them at Key Arena, to having my best friend backup dance for them and bringing me backstage for a show. Two of the nicest artists I've ever met. They're literally so cool. The next song on my playlist is my quote-unquote wedding song, which is Superpower by Beyonce and Frank Ocean. And the moment I heard Superpower for the first time, I knew that no matter what, it was going to be my wedding song. I don't plan on getting married anytime soon, but Superpower will just be on repeat until then because it is pure magic. It's so good. It's so underrated. My next song is my favorite band in the world, The Neighborhood, and the song is Single. One of my favorite songs by my favorite band, The Neighborhood. This song gives me butterflies and makes me happy inside. Easily the sweetest and most innocent song on the list. And they've been my favorite band since high school, and I know they will be for ever and ever and ever. Oh my god, I love it. And this last song on the playlist is my heartbreak song, and is A Change of Heart by B1975. This last one makes me want to cry every time I hear it. As a matter of fact, I bawled my eyes out the first time I heard it live. That is also a fact. A Change of Heart was on repeat after I had gone through a major heartbreak in late 2018. It's hard to listen to because of that association, but it's therapeutic. This band has been the soundtrack to my young adult and college years. So the next little spread we have is I don't want to call it an expose. It's just my thoughts and opinions after 4 years of art school. And I still think it's a weird place, but I'll read this little kind of like writing piece. And then this other visual that I created is every single image that I've created since my time in the photo media department began, starting with up here is literally the first images I made for my intro class in spring of 2017, so my freshman year, all the way down to here was alternative covers I made for my senior thesis a couple months ago. Here is art school, a weird place. Scolded for taking it too seriously. Lighten up, have more fun with your art. Art is fun. Criticized for not taking it seriously enough. But why are you doing it this way? Where's the deeper meaning? You can't just be making stuff for the hell of it. That's not art. I'll never forget the day that a graduate student had the nerve to tell me in front of my entire cohort of peers that if you don't think about art this way, then why are you even here? Said grad student was referring to a previous comment I had made during a critique where one is supposed to give feedback on a peer's work, appreciating the fact that said peer had explicitly stated that they created the work with solely aesthetic intentions, no deeper meaning. I appreciate it because that is the way I like to approach viewing and creating most of the time. I claim that I didn't believe every piece of work needed a long-winded, drawn-out philosophical explanation or meaning behind it in order for it to be valid, which I still stand by. If you have to speak for your art that much, how strong is the work? What happened to allowing diverse ways of thinking and creating in order to push artists in different directions that would have gone unexplored? Is that not what art school is for beyond the basic evolution of skills? It is not conducive to a constructive learning environment to only allow one pathway of thinking, one pathway of creating. If that's the way you believe it should be, then you need to reevaluate. Critique the institution. The art education is the institution. It's there to critique and evolve with the times. With this way of thinking, it's stuck in time. Don't encourage progress if you won't accept it. Always feeling unaccepted with my work and the way I approach things by not only peers but also those who are supposed to be in a teaching or leadership position. It feels like a constant nagging of whatever I produce is somehow wrong. Whenever I feel this way, I revisit a film, a 2015 documentary called Jeremy Scott, The People's Designer. I had never resonated with someone's work ethic and way of thinking so much until I watched this and learned more about Jeremy Scott. Whenever I'm feeling that feeling of doubt, especially induced by the wonders of art school, I remember that Jeremy Scott got rejected by FIT in the 1990s because he lacked creativity and vision with his designs. He's now the creator of his own fashion label and has been the creative director of Moschino for nearly 7 years. Anything is possible. And that's on period. The next spread is my rendition of like those fashion spreads by labels in like something like Vogue. So it's 2 more photos by the lovely Gemma. And these are just 2 photos with the Seattle skyline in the back, and I thought they worked really well. I have been in a sorority at UW for the past 4 years. I'm about to be an alumni of Chi Omega sorority. And tradition is to, on one of your last chapter meetings, is to do this thing called This I Believe. So it's pretty much just like life lessons that you have learned and like words of wisdom that you want to leave with the younger members of the chapter. And it's kind of like a rite of passage when you become a senior to do a This I Believe speech. So I've just included a picture of myself and I don't know, it's so cute. I just really love this picture. This is my This I Believe, my thoughts and lessons learned over the past 4 years of life. This I believe. I believe that you should apply for jobs that you don't think you're qualified for because you might just be what they're looking for. I believe that unpaid internships are a scam and you should not take them. No matter how great they seem, your time is valuable and you should always be getting paid. I believe camping outside of music venues all day for a concert builds character. I also believe that it is cool to be informed and keep up with current events. It keeps you engaged with the real world around you. I believe that you should stand your ground and stick up for yourself no matter what. I believe that staying at a UW football game through the cold, rain, and even thunderstorms also builds character. I believe that even if there's 10 inches of snow on the ground, go get that iced coffee, girl. I believe that as students, we are in such a privileged position and we need to take advantage of all the amazing resources and knowledge around us. I believe that no dream is ever too big or too ambitious. I believe that you don't have to be friends with everyone, and that's okay. Real friendships are better than forced ones. I believe that people hate on Geminis too much. We're really not that bad. I believe that it is totally acceptable to drink wine straight from the bottle. I believe that grown adults are not always the smartest or most mature people in the room. I believe that you should just suck it up and do the assigned reading. It'll make the lecture a lot more bearable. And finally, I believe that you truly haven't had the full UW experience until you've called your mom crying at 6 a.m. because you couldn't get into the classes you needed because registering for classes at UW is equivalent to a real life Hunger Games. So this last little spread is just kind of like the ending. We have, a picture that looks like the one we saw in the beginning. This is my very poor attempt at recreating that picture from my first trip to Disneyland. And, I gave it my best effort. I thought it was funny. It makes my mom and dad laugh every single time I show it to them, so I kept it in. And then this little page is kind of inspired by just credit pages in magazines. And because the whole idea was me doing this entire thing by myself, I ran the show. I did everything. I did everything from being the editor-in-chief to the assistant photo editor to the research chief to the copy editor, which I obviously didn't do a good job because there are definitely some spelling errors in this magazine, but we'll just go with it. I do it all, ladies and gents, and all of my non-binary folk out there. I see you. Oh my god, how rude. Okay, so my camera timed out after 30 minutes, which I didn't know I talked that long, but we knew I was a rambler, so it cut me off just right at the end. Yes, this is the back cover, and so it just says Art Heaux is a one-off publication produced as a senior thesis for Ryann Funk as part of the University of Washington School of Art on its exhibition with the Jacob Lawrence Gallery in spring 2020. And I just included my at Ryann Funk on all social media and my website, portfolio, whatever you want to call it, RyannFunk.com, and a cute little bubblegum pink color because that is my favorite color in the entire world. Yeah, so thank you so much for sticking around and checking out a little more in-depth on my senior thesis project. I hope you go through and check out everybody else, all of the other graduating seniors from this year. I know we've all been working really hard and we've all been kind of like adapting to everything that's going on, and so we really appreciate you just spending the time to just check out our work and making it all worth it. So thank you so much.